And we're back. I am here with Katrena Cohea Morrison of Different Drummer Dance Studio. Now we're going to talk a little more about the actual dance studio. So, what was the purpose of bringing a dance studio to Speculator?
That is a great question. I don't know if I've fully figured out the answer to that yet. Well, it was really, as you know, some people might know, I moved out here about a year ago because Casey, my now husband, bought Camp Store and the property out there and wanted to spend some time, getting that business up and going. And I was ready for an adventure, so I decided to tag along. And when I first got up here, I still wasn't quite sure, how it would work to bring dance classes up here, if there was even a market for it. But after a couple months, I decided to just go for it and see what would happen. And dance is one of the things that, I feel like I have a talent for teaching it. I love teaching it. I just, I wanted to bring it to this new place that I was trying to adopt as one of my new communities, and felt that it was something that I could help contribute and bring to some of the families and people around here. And it's also been a goal of mine for a long time to open a dance studio. And I had a small following out in California of some dedicated students that I had been teaching for a few years. And the idea of doing like a bi-coastal dance studio seemed really out there and still is presenting its challenges now. But I just figured, well, don't know until you try. So here we are.
Yeah, it's interesting when you mention it that way, bi-coastal. I don't think I've ever heard of a phrase like that, but I like it in the lexicon, bi-coastal.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's really a word either, but it fits in this situation, so it works.
I'm going to try and use it more often.
Yeah, please do.
So what is your background when it comes to dancing? You mentioned that you love teaching dance, but what was your background kind of before then?
Yeah, so like lots of little girls, I started ballet when I was about 5 or 6 and loved it from the get-go. And at my little studio that I started in Northern California, the syllabus that they taught is the Royal Academy of Dance. So that's a syllabus based out of with the Royal Ballet in London, and they have a whole training program that they do for young kids up to young adults. So I grew up learning that syllabus, that style of dance, took the exams. You could take yearly exams and move up to the next level. So I did that all the way up into my early 20s, and I passed their second highest exam. And then from there, I went on and did their teacher training program. So that was a 2-year program that I did to become trained in their syllabus and their style of dance so that I could teach it to others. Beyond that, danced all through high school, went to college. I actually first off went to UC Santa Barbara to be a dance major there. And I left after a little less than a year to go back up to Northern California and started auditioning for companies in the Bay Area. And I danced with San Francisco Conservatory of Dance for about 4 years. I danced with a flamenco company in the Bay Area, Brisas de España, which was a Spanish and flamenco dance company. So I danced professionally with them for about 4 or 5 years. And throughout all that time, I was teaching on my own and at community centers. For about 6 years, I was the head dance instructor at an organization called Community Youth Center, and that was in Concord, California. And the youth center was a really awesome place of gathering for many different types of sports. There was a taekwondo program, a dance program, obviously, gymnastics, academic studies, and that's where I really started getting more into teaching and developing curriculums of my own when I was the director for that program. So while I was doing all of that and dancing professionally myself and teaching, after a while of that, I decided it was probably time for me to go back to school and finish my degree since I had put it off to, pursue dancing on my own. So I went back to college, went to Cal State East Bay, which is in Hayward, California, and I finished my degree in dance and theater there. And that was about 3 years ago. So since then, I dove right into Different Drummer Dance. And before Different Drummer, I actually ran a business called the Ballerina Birthday, which was it was a lot of the same missions that I do in my teaching work, but it was more specifically geared towards dance parties. So I did a lot of ballet parties, hip hop parties, and that kind of set the basis and the stage for what would later become Different Drummer.
Awesome. Now you say you were professionally trained. Is there a difference, or have you felt a difference between, say, professionally trained and something that's more organic, such as the hip hop dancing?
Mm-hmm. Well, hip hop dancing has such a different background culturally than something like ballet does, so it makes sense that the performance opportunities would be different. But there are absolutely, hip hop dancers that are amazing and book tours with, music artists and things like Broadway shows. So yeah, I think now probably more than ever, now that there's so much more, you see so many different types of dancing beyond just, ballet or jazz. We have things like So You Think You Can Dance and all those TV shows and YouTube channels that feature a much wider variety of dancing. So I think probably now more so than ever before, there's much more of a stage for hip hop dancers and maybe other forms of dance to be able to perform professionally than there have been before.
I've always run into a roadblock as a musician where I was also classically trained, where I can read the music, and I've always learned to follow the music and kind of combine that with everyone else and make a cohesive song. But I've also met musicians who are able to just wing it by what they can hear, and sometimes I'm envious of them, who have more of a organic feel to the music, where I had been taught for so long to read the recipe as it were. Yeah. So it sometimes I feel it kind of hinders when you get classically trained versus the organically trained, but at the same time, it's usually easier for, say, a whole bunch of classically trained people to play something together than to have a bunch of organically people try to put it together. I mean, it'll eventually sound awesome either way, but I feel like in the classical sense, you kind of get it together faster because everyone can read the instructions and they can follow the instructions, where organically, you gotta let it grow, you gotta let it manifest, but they're both very beautiful mediums.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am a stickler for strong, solid technique because that's the way that I was trained. So I have an appreciation for, that kind of solid technique that you get with classical training. And I don't think there's really anything to beat it, but I also can appreciate that there's more than one way to arrive at a destination,
Exactly. Now, in being business in this community, how's the reception been so far?
I think it's been pretty good. I think one of the things that I'm still working on is, letting people know that I'm here, that there is a dance studio, and that, that there's dance for young kids and for adults and kind of everything in between. But but I had a really great response when I did a program with Lake Pleasant Central School. I did a little after-school program with them back in the fall. We did a Dance Around the World class. So every week for, I think, about 4 or 6 weeks, we went to a different country and explored some of the movement behind that area and that culture, and listened to lots of different types of music, and it was a blast. I had a ton of fun with the kids, and I think they really enjoyed it as well. So I'm hoping to be able to do that again sometime soon. But I think the reception has been really great. I think people are enjoying it and are appreciative that it's here. Just got to keep letting people know that I'm here and I'm building it. So hopefully now they will come.
Yeah, it's exactly what I talked to Mr. Stefano last week when he took me around Wells. I'm so glad that the opportunities for the kids are widening even in our small area, where in Wells they've got all this new technological stuff to get them to wherever they want to go. I'm glad that there's opportunities for music and dance that are popping up here to give kids more to do and, sit home and watch YouTube videos.
Yeah, super important.
Yeah. So how has running a small business in the community been like? I know I'm also a small business owner with AD Karaoke and in a way with Daglin Radio. So I know it's difficult to start up any small business, especially in a small community like this. Yeah, it definitely has its own set of challenges. I feel lucky that I was able to have practice out in California. For the few years that I had run my business out there, I felt like that was a good kind of training ground, good and training wheels, so to speak, to bring my knowledge and experience out here. But Speculator is it's so small, which never heard that before. So
when you think about it, like, I knew I was coming to this place that was a very small community, but I don't think it really sunk in until I had been here for a while and actually started living here and just realizing how tight knit it is here. So that has been a whole new ball game for me. But like I said, I'm still learning as I go. I think the reception from the community has been really great, and I am grateful for the opportunities like I've had at Lake Pleasant Central School, and just everybody who has shown up and said, "Hey, I'll try a dance class." So I feel very grateful for that.
What was the biggest example of culture shock between West Coast and East Coast?
It's still the weather. I'm still not used to the weather. It's May, and I wish there was sunshine out. That's the thing that has probably been the hardest to get used to. That, and just being far away from those kind of everyday amenities that I had, back in California, like a Target or, any of those kind of things that you take for granted, that you kind of have to plan your way around out here.
Yeah, you definitely have to put up like a whole list and be like, all right, kids, we're doing it once. If you don't get it this time, we're not getting it.
Right, yeah.
You only take one trip down to the city.
Yep.
So, and this is your first winter out here, right? This was your full winter?
Yep, this was the first full winter. I've survived, I guess.
I'm glad to hear that.
Thanks.
Yeah. What's the most difficult hurdle you've had to overcome, either here with this dance studio or just in dance overall?
I think it's myself, honestly. I think as humans in general, we tend to get in our own way a lot, especially when it comes to goals that we want to set for ourselves. And I know personally that was the case for me, even just getting to a point where I was ready to say, okay, I'm ready to open a business, to open up a dance studio. I think for myself in particular, I set up so many roadblocks in my own mind of why it wouldn't happen or why it couldn't happen, or, I need this first, I need this license, I need this amount of money, whatever those, X, Y, and Z's that pop into your head, while they might be legitimate and are definitely concerns as far as reaching a goal and running a business, they're really just, it's myself that's in the way. It's me coming up with a reason why I couldn't do something, or why I needed to wait, or, that this person needed to give me something first, or whatever, the fill in the blank might be. And I think that's applicable for my business life as well as, my life with dance. And like I had mentioned before, how you, as a dancer, you spend so much time in front of a mirror training and kind of nitpicking and working to become the best version of yourself, the best dancer that you can be. But because there's so much of that kind of reflection and introspection, that sometimes I feel like can lead itself to just coming up with reasons why you can't do something, why something is too hard. So I think just realizing that and becoming aware of that tendency for myself has been a big deal in opening up a whole new realm of possibilities. If I can just get myself out of the way, if I can get my ego out of the way, and just dive in, that usually seems to be the best way to go.
Well, the best part about hard work is when you get to the achievements.
Yeah.
And even if they're not trophies on a wall, but personal achievements. And what would you say is your biggest achievement in either, like I said, the dance studio or dance in your life?
Yeah. I think just the fact that, like you said, getting to an achievement feels really good, and I feel like I've kind of leveled up, so to speak. I'm doing the bi-coastal thing. I am here now, open the studio here in Speculator. So you reach those benchmarks, but then, you want more. You see the next goal in front of you, and just being able to evolve and keep growing and keep wanting more, I think is something for me that I hope never goes away. And I think, yeah.
I know a big thing for me as well as for you is when you do what you love to do and you see the smiling faces on either the kids or the adults when you do it. For me, that's a big achievement that I love, is just when I play music and I see people have fun and they're smiling and dancing and all that. It's something that I feel the world needs more of now, is we need the happiness and the laughter and just have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's a great point. And seeing kids when they are enjoying dancing, or when they've had a light bulb moment and something finally clicks, or any of those moments, those are all great. That's always a great achievement as a teacher, to see that spark in your student and to kind of want them to want more.
Yeah. My family, if they're listening, my extended family, we have a bunch of girls. We tend, for some reason, the Bryans family, we tend to have a lot of girls more than boys, and they all love to dance. They two come to mind. One is Claire Bronius, and the other is Hannah Peck.
Okay. And
they love to, like, I'll be sitting in my grandmother's house doing office work, and they'll bring in a boombox and be like, wait, you gotta see this. And they'll play like some sort of thing, or they'll have like an iPod, and then they just go for it.
Yeah.
They just love to dance. My cousin Sarah, her three daughters love to dance.
Yeah.
And she puts it up on YouTube. So
yeah. Well, I think it's one of those innate things, I mean, even if you don't consider yourself a dancer, you put on a good piece of music and you can't help but tap your toes or kind of, shimmy or bop your head. I think that it's just one of those innate things that we as humans are meant to move. We're meant to enjoy moving and dancing, and that's one of the things that I hope I can turn people on to.
Yeah. Now, what kind of classes do you offer at different drummer dance studios?
So currently I have a creative movement class for young kiddos, so for ages 4 and 5. I've got a pre-ballet class for ages 5, 6, and I have a hip-hop class for ages 7 and up. And I also am doing a kind of fitness stretching class called TLC, which stands for Tone, Length, and Core. So that's a class for adults that's all about kind of stretching, lengthening, and kind of toning. So those are the current classes that I've got going on.
Nice. Now, do you ever hope to open up a... I don't know how to say. I don't want to say legitimate dance because you definitely have a legitimate dance.
Oh, I'm legit, Gary.
Yeah, I know you are,
I'm crazy legit.
Yeah, I don't want to put it that way, but I guess what I'm saying is, have you ever thought about having a? I guess I would put professional dance studio. Like I see on TV, and that's how most of us see the world. Is just on TV.
Yeah.
No, but like with ballet students, they have like the balance bars and where people they stretch and stuff, and you have the wooden floors and, like you said, the mirrors and all that. Have you ever thought of trying to get a studio of that type?
Yeah, totally. That is definitely on my dream to-do list. I would love to do that here. I am kind of already in the process of doing that back in California, where I teach in California. It's through a Parks and Rec department, but it's a beautiful facility. Got the hardwood floors and the mirrors and everything. That would be wonderful to be able to bring a facility like that up here, and I would love to at some point franchise different drummer and be able to just drop different drummer dance studios all over the world and have world domination through dance. That is definitely my plan.
Okay, I need to know, what is your experience with square dancing?
I have very little experience with square dancing, actually. I think my only experience with that is in like 4th or 5th grade when everybody has to do it for PE. That's basically all I've got.
Well, luckily, we're going to definitely have to change that. I've heard through the grapevine they will be having line dances and square dances in town, which is definitely our dance style. It's definitely a dance style we know how to do. So
okay,
I'm gonna have to see you try and get the square dance.
Yeah, down. I'm down. I feel like this region, y'all do a lot of like rain dancing and snow dancing, apparently, because that stuff is not stopping. We need to do a sunshine dance. That's what we need to do.
The sunshine is, it was kind of breaking a minute ago.
I know.
As they say, if you don't like the weather in the Adirondacks, you wait 5 minutes and it'll change.
I think we all need to have a community sunshine dance. Yeah. I'm going to institute it.
Yeah, we used to have a snow dance up at Melanie, but they haven't done it in a while. So, but that was always a fun time.
Might be time to bring it back.
Okay. One other thing I need to know.
Yeah.
Favorite dance movie?
Oh, gosh.
I'll put you on the spot here.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to go with Center Stage, which is not as well known, I know, as something like Footloose or Flashdance, but I'm gonna say Center Stage just because I have so many fond memories of going with my dance girlfriends to see that movie when it first opened, and lots of really great memories of hanging out with them and trying to recreate the dances that we saw in the movie and making those references to the movie as we got older. So it's a classic in my book.
Yeah, you mentioned it, but I have to go with Footloose.
Footloose it's great.
I'd have to go either with Footloose or Dirty Dancing.
I mean,
those are probably those
Dirty Dancing. Dirty Dancing. Okay, Dirty Dancing and Center Stage are gonna tie for top spot. Is that allowed?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, that is allowed.
And then I think Footloose might have to come in a hot second. Yeah, because Kevin Bacon. I mean.
Oh, I just love just when he has to get his mind off things and he's just in the middle of a construction and that's why he just starts dancing the Footloose, start dancing.
Yeah.
You get that out, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Now, I have heard, and I've been sent emails by the chamber, that you are running a summer dance competition for summer dance camps that you want to explain more about that?
Yeah, well, the competition actually was ideally supposed to take place during National Dance Week, which was last week, but I am happy to still extend the deadline for the competition. But the idea behind the competition was for local businesses to submit a video of themselves or their employees doing just a real quick, silly dance to post it on Different Drummer Dance's Facebook page, and then I would go through and choose what I thought to be the best video, and the business that submitted the best video and won would win a scholarship for a local kid to come to a dance camp that I am holding this summer. So this summer I'll have a number of different dance camps that I'll be doing during the month of July. There's going to be a ballet dance camp, a hip-hop dance camp. There will be a superhero dance camp. And we're going to have some other really fun classes like a Gloga class, which is going to be a yoga-based class, but we'll bring in a black light and some glow tape and move around and glow in the dark, and it's going to be really awesome. So I'm hoping to spread the word about those summer dance camps and get some of the local kids involved so they can get their dance on this summer.
Now, have you had any local businesses present any tapes? Or?
I haven't. So get on it, you guys. This is the chance for a local kid to go to a dance camp for an entire week, totally free.
We are, us business people, we are lame.
I want to see your best moves. You better bring them.
All right. Well, I will definitely try and get mine in as fast as possible. Any final thoughts before we end this show?
Just to just keep dancing. Know that there's a dance studio in town, and I am eager to dance with your kids and you and bring dance to this community. So I hope to dance with every single person in this community at some point.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming on to the show. And to everybody out there at Daclin Radio Land, thank you for listening to Heart to Heart. Join us next week, same time, same station, here on Daclin Radio.